Good morning, Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh, professional engineer, civil. As usual, in serial of explanation about engineering, I'm now explaining to you serial number 6. So it is engineering-based development, appraisal to general public, professional awareness, backbone of any nation, building activities, systems, construction activities, execution, supervision. This was a blog. Now I'm just explaining to you about this. The objective is the world of engineering, engineering sciences, their applications, impact on the economy, health, safety and environment, quality, society, grossly, all relevant, whatever it could be, and others, undefined. Buildings construction in Bharat, that is India, our country, an advice to general public to know about buildings execution, and construction and supervision. Detailed description of buildings construction operations and their procedures, methods. Construction understandable knowledge, work awareness. This is meant for the general public, and the briefs are as follows. Engineering science applies to the whole world developments. Engineering is the basis of any society. Without engineering, the human had to remain ancient and society cannot survive. Civil engineering is the basis of all structures and infrastructures. Design and planning of buildings is a vast discipline. Building is the most significant commodity to make a lifetime purchase. An item the most expensive for everybody. The owner should be careful while spending money on the buildings. Owners should not trust the building quick builders or other trade-oriented persons or artisans or anyone who claims to be a person who can make a building. One should be properly qualified. A civil engineer service must be taken. Without his service or without civil engineers or architects or any structural engineer service, it is impossible to get a good building. You will waste your money and you will regret later on, because many buildings have failed in the past, many buildings are failing now. It is therefore very important. Engineering is an art-based science with widest network. In fact, engineering is the religion of mind and religion of thinking and thoughts and dreams. Without engineering knowledge, without engineering execution, our Ramayana could not be completed, and the Ram Setu, now it is called, could not be completed at that time. Nail engineer carried out the design and execution of that. In Mahabharata, a building was set on fire because of inclusion of a material which was prone to catching fire. There are so many marvels, hundreds of marvels from the ancient of our world, which are a proof that even there was no engineering cadre, engineering education, but at that time also there were the people who practically understood the engineering knowledge, who would have the engineering knowledge and engineering science, and they executed, they shaped the engineering into these marvels. There was no university, nobody attended university or any courses, but our God Vishwakarma, world maker of the universe. He is the universal engineer. At least we, the people of Bharat, agree with this. We don't care if other countries agree or may not agree. Our culture of Bharat, our Bharatiyata permits us to accept that Vishwakarma was an engineer, is an engineer still, and he sends all the knowledge to engineers. Everybody has a right to check about one's spending, and you are the person to check your spending, whether your spending is going to the right direction or your spending is being misused by any person or any businessman or any builder or any constructor. It should be given with well return. You should get the proper returns of your spendings. Ultimately, it is in lakhs and crores. It's not thousands alone. The owner, that is you, should treat the building as a temple construction for those users who you shall use your building for decades, and their grandchildren shall use it, and many generations shall use their souls for stay in the building. Therefore, building should be a pious place and should be properly given attention. It's not just a house, just a wall, or just a ladder. Their souls will stay, and souls will stay in temples, in mosques. It should be a place like worshipable. Without engineering, nothing is possible. In every sphere of life in this age, engineering is a must. Any branch of engineering applies somewhere. Nothing is possible without engineering. Engineering is no more engineering. It is the God link. Yet the professionals are most unbeneficial. It's a noble profession. Society is not aware of the applicability of engineering as a profession in noble sense. Society is unaware about the sacrifices rendered by the engineers working in the deserts and working in the forests and working on the oil fields. The public has to look into the pros and cons of the engineering profession and recognize the efforts contributed by those engineers who don't have even sometimes family for years with them. And most of them and many of them sometimes working in the field in deserts and oil offshore. They don't enjoy their lives. They don't see even the animals for many, many years. The purchaser has to involve self-contribution for the better product. Product must be better, and for that the customer must be smart. You are the customer. You have to be smart. You must ensure that your money, your every unit of money should go to a better building, better product. Building should be treated like any live machine that works as seen by the eyes, but building is not considered as such because it's not visible. Machine works, building works. Building is a mechanism. It serves you for years, for decades, for centuries. It gives you service every day. The building also vibrates, it talks, it respirates, it talks to it, it responses, it vibrates, it shows cracks, it shows settlement, it shows deformation. All these are talks. During the performance of the building, during the service of the building, building talks to fire and building talks to wind. Building talks to weather and building talks to moisture. Building talks to seism, that is earthquake, and building talks to you. Building talks to the nature. Building talks to earth. Building talks to the orientation. Building talks to the north, south, east, west. And building talks to the nature, ultimate, to the sky, to the sun, to the moon, to the mind, to the soul. No politics can sustain the national advancement without the role of engineering contribution. Engineers can change the national power, national status, national development, international development, world status, world development. Engineers are to be credited, should be credited, to be credited, and may be credited with the due social regards, professional regards, national regards, international regards. The engineers are not seen in public, but must be recognized for the sake of better understanding and better interaction, and given the due status and regards. Recognition must be given to them as very important constituent of the society, civilization. In most cases, engineers intend to deliver good quality products, but due to special circumstances of commercial benefits to the promoters, they have reservations too. Buildings are required for every manufacturing unit, for all residences and commercial units, for all railways, halls, for all offices, for all wharfs, for all offshores, for all inshores, for most of the activities and means, for all roads, means, for all, you can say there is no approach where engineers are not required or buildings are, even for your toilet, for your WC, for public toilet, buildings are required. For most of the activities and means required in life. Without this, no chance of existence. Without buildings production, you will be subject to the adverse effect of the weather, the adverse effect of the sun, the adverse effect of everything. It is not easy to live, to stay with good health without the buildings. All other professions shall be worthless without the contribution of engineering as a profession in the global scenario. Engineering travels its journey from a dream to a made-up project, a made-up product, to a made-up dream. A dream coming true in shape, no more in waves, no more in mind waves, no more in magnetic waves, but physically on the mundane world. Buildings are a must for the operations of all the professions. It's not only a profession, but a commitment. Do not allow your building to convert to a graveyard. It shall kill you if it's not good. It will collapse one day and you will collapse. It will get fire and you will be fired. Building is not meant for the day, for 1 day or 1 month, or for 1 year or for 2 years. It is meant forever, but for generations to come. Your many generations will use the building. Save your generations from dying under the collapse of this bad structure. In reality, actually buildings build the human. The buildings is a live art. Construction of buildings is a religion, a life science, a commitment, a dedication, a live architecture, a live emotion, a live sentiment, a live soul, a live security, etc. Blah blah blah. I'll explain to you in different way now. The public of the whole world, the globe, living on the earth has been developing various nations as well as the globe. The contributions from all fields of human life are responsible for making up the world. But a considerable and immense contribution comes from the fields of engineering profession, of all engineering. The life shall cease without engineering. The history is full of various legends of engineering all over the globe. Without these, nothing would have been possible. Though there was no engineering education in those days, yet the minds were full of engineering knowledge, inculcated either by the God's gift or by the clan works inherited from ancestors through the chain of the artisans who did, who created, who used their skills and blood and sweat and produced many ancient live examples which are legends now. Engineering contributes from the manufacturing of a needle, contributing with lathe machines, contributing through shapes, contributing through bus cars, and there is no item that cannot be referred to as a product of engineering. Space vessels and all vessels, satellites, computers, whatever you name it, you will say it's a part of engineering. All systems are running based on any branch of engineering, irrespective of the name. Engineering involves a part of the art, part of the applied mathematics, higher maths, lower maths, differential equations, integral equations, hundreds of thousands of formulas, applied sciences, physics, chemistry and others, travel sciences and many other sciences, gravity science, exploration, you can say deceleration, vibration, and the health, safety and environment with the assistance of all codes, national and international, and the national and international laws, and national and international directions. Engineering is a very complex term. It is a sphere of all involvements in this age as a contribution from various engineering disciplines are required to accomplish any small task or manufactured piece or whatever it could be for this use of the society and development of the society in the international affairs, international spectrum. Civil engineer or professional civil engineer takes the lead at the initial stages and continues through its contributions to the full execution of any project from the concept stage, passing over to design, development, execution, construction, completion, and etc. handover. The buildings are the creations of the architectural and structural engineers with highly credited support of the subsidiary disciplinary engineers like electrical, mechanical, IT, instrumentation, and many others. Then the workers, specialists, as well as common also, all respect from the society, as without their laborious contribution, the people cannot live in beautiful houses. People cannot live in houses as a pious place. House doesn't mean a structure of building, structure of form, steel, concrete, or broad blocks of bricks. It's an understanding of the soul. It's a feeling of self. It's a feeling of comfort. It's a feeling of orientation of the earth. It's a feeling of north, south, east, west. House is a pious place for the people who have to live in that for decades. While for a promoter or for a builder, it's just like the process that works in a factory for making profit at the risk of those who use. Be an active supervisor for yourself, for your building. Otherwise, you will not get the results. Buildings are imagined thoughts. These are imagined, these are thoughts, these are conceived and developed, produced, viewed, landscaped, and given vistas, given acoustics, etc. Buildings are the glory for a king as well as for a peon. Buildings are the respects for all. Buildings is a protection from weather and constitutes a security. It's significant to be apprised, to have a good awareness, just like the people have awareness about other spheres. It's very important to understand the value of engineering and engineering sciences, value of engineering construction and engineering design for the construction of the most you can say expensive item of your lifetime for everybody, for every individual, at least in our country, and that is the building. So I will now just take you to further explanation of the activities. I have completed up to activities 32. Now 33 it is 33. That is, after the clearance is received for the excavations, the relevant teams for the safety upkeep has to plan its arrangement for the possible measures against the hazards expected on the site due to negligence of the respective people. Safety, health and environment, abbreviated as SHE, is very significant from the viewpoint of keeping the site safe from the hazards. Since deep excavations are planned for the high-rise or multi-story buildings and other structures, the definite supervision and input to safety element is a must. While seeking cooperation from all concerned, now onwards, the general operations or activities applicable to various buildings are enlisted hereinafter for a common understanding and common information. It is very important to know at this stage that without safety no building can be constructed, and safety first is the criteria in the international field. Safety is a must. Safety lacks means you cannot go on for the construction of activities. Without safety, it is impossible even to start a building. Safety, small safety, medium safety, or the highest safety. Safety is safety. Even a single movement allows somebody to fall from a height and die. Why to take the risk? It is not possible. It is not allowed. Every activity done on site must be under supervision, and without the finalization of the safety provisions, no work should be carried out. Even excavation cannot be carried out. Any work cannot move without the consideration and satisfaction of the safety by the site engineers, by the safety engineers and every engineer. Every individual on site who works on the building is responsible for the safety, 100%. Now you see, site service in all respects, preparing the site for a quick kick start. These activities include levels in formations and benchmarks, line controls and flying references from fixed satellite-borne datum as explained in the foregoing. All these have to be recorded contractually for documentation purpose, duly approved by the engineer of the resident engineer on registered third-party certification basis. Location of existing services as said and applying the diversion or removal all in accordance with the contract provisions and the access to the responsible official authorities in this connection. C. After the clearance of the existing services and the installation of all safety relevant issues and activities, starting the works of the excavations in stages and parts depending on the project plans and the sections. For basements works, if so included on the contract, deep excavations shall be required. That operation must require the continuous dewatering activities by installing well point dewatering system or a sump to collect the draining water using a submersible pump, depending on the nature of the soil. In clay or silt soil, generally, well point dewatering systems are installed, while in sandy soils, submersible pumps preferably are used to collect the water in the sump, from where further pumping to the ground chamber or a tank is received and then disposed of into the regular permanent chamber. Dewatering is a continuous process and conducted round the clock until the time when the works are taken out to ground levels. The works are to be done in dry area. Since the dewatering is a continuous operation, standby pumps are definitely recommended. It is just reference I repeated from the last article because just to remind and remember. Then the deep era comes. D. During the deep excavations, adequately stump shoring are designed and installed depending upon the nature of the soil and definitely required if the soil is not very dense, sand or rock. More than 1.5 meter depth of excavation mandatory requires the installation of shoring to prevent the sites from collapsing or caving in to the trench. The ramps are also temporarily prepared for easy ingress and exit or ingress and exit from the trench. The ladders are also in place of exit we can also use egress. So ingress and egress. The ladders are also required to be installed so that the workers should not walk more than 8 meters to use the ladders from one point to the other point. In meter-sized trenches, benching of slope is also required for maintaining soil slope stability. Benching means a horizontal surface between two slopes. The earth-moving machines and trucks or tippers are also allowed in the trenches for fast mechanical work where millions of hundreds of thousands of cubic meter of excavation, earthwork is carried out. Generally, in such cases, no isolated excavations are preferred, but mass excavation only. In case where the formation level soil is not acceptable due to its being weak in capacity strength, that soil shall be removed to the design level and replaced by a good soil volume. A good soil shall be filled in layers, watered and compacted to the specified 95 to 98% proctor density. Proctor density is a value of relative measurement of the field density strength of the compacted soil to the strength of the soil sample submitted for the priming test of the fill material. Final layer of the approved fill soil shall be very well leveled to to be good enough to receive the blinding or lean concrete layer. In case where no such soil improvement is necessary, the formation level shall be well dressed and compacted using water in optimum moisture content percentage. When the soil is well prepared and compacted, good enough to receive the blinding layer of concrete or lean concrete, as it is called in this country, anti-termite treatment, if included, shall be applied by the specialist applicator only. The produced membrane shall not be allowed to be broken or disturbed in any way. Its immediate cover is necessary. This later carries a warranty with making it necessary to be duty protected for its duty as instructed by the applicator who applied it. F. In case of basement involvement, the retaining walls are required to be constructed along with the foundations in accordance with the designs. The dewatering procedures have to remain continuous round the clock to keep the working area reasonably dry to keep off the subsoil water flow away from the formations. Then the preparatory works pertaining blinding concrete have to commence with. The thickness of the blinding or in Bharat so-called lean concrete varies from 50 mm to 100 mm depending on the design. The working forms at the sides of the area covering the blinding are to be worked out. These levels of the blinding top shall be duly profiled so that a good formation level would be produced after the blinding is over. The area then shall be approved and the concrete poured in thin courses, followed by good steel finish, preferably to have a smooth surface to receive the waterproofing or to call concrete protection membrane. The layer of blinding shall then be covered with wet Hessian beds and polythene sheets spread over. This cover shall be kept wet so that curing size is well done up for the number of required days. The curing is required to allow the reaction between the cement and water to solidify all the concrete ingredients and duly setting them. For blinding, a curing duration of 3 days is reasonably accepted. G. After successful completion of the blinding in the area involved, the surface shall be exposed to find any unacceptable defects for rectification. The marking shall be made on the blinding surface. For receiving the concrete protection layers that would be either torch applied or cold applied. This layer is protected by another cement mortar protection layer. But in case of using heavy-duty concrete protection membrane, the cement mortar protection layer may not be required. Though it is not conducted on the building projects, but there is no harm should a vacuum test is conducted on the membrane if good primer is applied. The setting out respecting the foundations on rafts. H. The setting out respecting the foundations or rafts shall be made to allow the form sides properly aligned. Let me repeat the sentence, please. The setting out respecting the foundations or rafts shall be made to allow the form sides properly aligned. The activity of form making shall or should have been going on in parallel to the foundation, excavation and blinding works. The works of reinforcing bars, cutting and bending should also have been going on in parallel. For a better result of concrete surface, the sides of the foundation should be formed using ply and wood, though people in general use rented or hired timber planks of regular shape or size that do not allow the production of good concrete surface. The joint between the planks allow the cement slurry to seed out as waste. The money is wasted. The wasted cement slurry adversely affects the concrete quality by honeycombing and reduction in the concrete strength as well as durability. The sides are made in the carpentry yard and then shifted to the actual location in foundations trenches. Similarly, the fabricated steel mesh of the relevant foundation is shifted to the required location. These steel reinforcement mesh shall be made of design provided dimensions cut accordingly. Prior to all these, a parallel activity of concrete covers or spacers are fabricated using template of required thickness. These covers are made of equivalent strength of the design concrete using fine aggregates and cement. The rich mortar is placed in the template, placed on a good surface, and then after the mortar getting gel, using mason's trowel, the biscuits of the size of 50 mm to 50 mm and the relevant thickness are cut all over the area with the templates. Then the cut binding wire groups are embedded into the cut biscuits so that adequate length of binding wire is left protruding to allow working on the spacer to tie it to the steel bars placed on the side. After the spacers are set and hard, these are taken out of the wooden templates and put into a water drum for curing. In lieu of these mortar biscuits, so-called biscuits, even the plastic spacers can be used particularly on the vertical surfaces. The foundation's reinforcement bars are generally heavy, the load of which these plastic spacers are not able to carry. Heavy-duty spacers are very expensive and sometimes are not available. Fabricated cage of the reinforcing bar, this is para I. Fabricated cage of the reinforcing bars is placed in the correct location with spacers tied. The prefabricated sides of the foundations are erected at the right markups. Then the supports are placed and all arrangements are carried out so that the forms are good enough to resist loads of the concrete. The verticality and the alignments of the forms are checked. That should be in line with the design within permissible tolerance. The foreman, the site engineer and the consulting engineer should verify the settings of the erected works and labels. The complete cleaning is to be done, ensuring no possible leakage of the cement slurry. All column steel dowels have to be placed in the right alignment and well supported. All tie beams, dowels if so designated, have also to be placed in the right positions. A good number of footings or good portion of the raft have to be prepared for one-time concreting operations. Preparation of the concreting pouring operation has to be made thereafter. J. In hot weather condition, the steel bars are to be protected from the high temperatures. To accomplish this protection, water is to be spread on the form as well as on the steel bars. The concrete pour plan is to be scheduled for low temperature hours. Plenty of water and curing sources such as Hessian, roll and polythene sheets are to be arranged prior to the commencement of the concrete. The concrete is either ready mixed or mixed on site. For major projects, ready mixed concrete is procured, while for smaller projects where ready mix is not available, concrete is mixed on site using a concrete mixer. Various grades of concretes are utilized, say M20, M25, M30, M35, M40, etc. M stands for the mix designation, while the digit stands for the indication of concrete grade on 20th day of pouring in newtons per square millimeter. Say the concrete grade M30 shall give 30 newtons per square millimeter crushing strength, compressive strength on 28th day when tested in laboratory by crushing under a standard concrete, by crushing a standard concrete cube of size 150 into 150 into 150 millimeters. Generally, M30, M35 or M40 is considered excellent grades for the durable designs, and this crushing is done on 20th day. That is the final result. It can also be done 7 days just for the assessment what the result on 20th day should be. The trial mixes are conducted to decide the ratio proportion by weight of measurement respecting various ingredients of concrete, say coarse aggregate, the fine aggregate, the cement, water, etc. The quantity of water is related to the water-cement ratio, which means that the amount of water to be used is decided by the weight of the cement. Water quantity is also related to the consistency of concrete. That means that the state of concrete liquid that is easily workable. The higher the quantity of water or lower the amount of water, both are harmful for the target strength of the concrete. The requirement for the concreting operations are concrete mixers of the required capacity or the concrete batching plant, concrete pumped and transient mixers. For concrete mixing on site, a concrete mixer is attached with hopper, water pouring arrangements, dry area for storing cement, sand and aggregate, shaded area you can say, measuring box or calibrated weigh batcher, by which you can weigh the quantity of various ingredients. As mixer, focus or vibrators, at least 3 numbers, including standby, concrete transporting arrangement from mixer to actual location, plenty of access to the foundations, curing materials, required strength of workers, tools, etc., control equipment, being slump measuring cylinders, thermometers, air void meters, cube molds you can say, not cube actually, etc. No water is to be allowed to be delivered to concrete. You cannot add any quantity of water when the concrete is delivered. In addition to what is designed for the mix, it's not allowed. No one, no way. This is what about the start of the job actually, since concrete and steel are the basic materials for the construction of RCC structure. It's very important that your concrete should be very good. Steel and concrete are the permanent materials. Air steel is the reinforcing steel, which is high yield steel, deformed steel that can give you a strength up to 4,600 kilogram per centimeter square. Yield strength means last strength where it breaks. 4,600 kilogram per centimeter square of the sectional area of steel bar. Nowadays it's called 460 newtons per millimeter square. This is the ultimate strength, you can say, but we don't take this strength in the design. This is a factor of safety. We keep the building ductile. A recognized value of strength is used, a coded value is used. That is in regards to details. I'm just informing you for the indicative purpose. Similarly, concrete grade here indicates that this is the grade on the 28th days. Today you cast the concrete, today, and then on the 7th day we have to test under the compression testing machine. This cube of 15 centi by 15 centi by 15 centi. This cube is taken on site. First we take the sample of slump. Slump means, I told you before also, a circular cone is filled 3 times when the concrete is delivered outside. In 3 layers we fill it and it's compacted, tamped by tamping. All these layers are done and then we take it off. There is always a vertical fall of the concrete, or wet concrete. Whatever fall is there, we measure by the tape. It could be 30 mm, it could be 40 mm, it could be 15 mm, it could be 25 mm, it could be 75 mm, it could be 200 mm. It depends. Now that value of vertical fall is called slump. More the slump, more workable the concrete is. The purpose of the slump here is to see that the concrete being supplied for the purpose of casting should have enough consistency so that it can be comfortably and conveniently poured into, for which it is designed or produced. It should neither be too fluid nor too stiff. Too stiff means it will not easily go into all the corners of the beam or the column or for whatever element it is designed. For the thin members, for the thin walls, it's suggestible that the slump should be more, so that it has a little fluid. It's like fluid. Viscosity value is low. It can move and go into all the corners of the member for which it is designed and poured, designed for the purpose of production. For which it is meant, it is delivered. Less the slump, stiff the mix is. Example.